Thank you so much, Andy. It's such a delight to be here and really an honor to be among the other awardees. Today, I want to take some time to tell you about something that's really important to all of our lives, a health behavior that I think that has been long neglected and that's critical to focus on, especially for adolescents. And I want to begin by telling you why adolescence is such a formative and challenging time. And that is that if you think back to your teenage years, you might remember all of the internal pressures that you faced, such as, thinking about how you look and worrying about performance in school and really trying to figure out who you are and who you're going to be in this world. Teens also have to deal with a number of interpersonal challenges. That is that this developmental time in their lives is tricky because they're trying to maintain a backdrop of familial attachment, trying to stay close and connected to their families, but they're really longing to sort of journey out into the wilderness to create new social circles, to create new friends, and maybe to even have their first experiences in romantic relationships. If we look beyond some of these interpersonal challenges, they also are impacted by the greater sociocultural and political context. And so it's no wonder that teens really struggle to navigate the world. And as if that wasn't hard enough, we know that COVID made things significantly worse. COVID-19 presented teens with not just challenges because they were socially isolated and that their education was disrupted, but they were really sort of lacking the social infrastructure they need to be able to grow, to be able to challenge themselves, to be able to learn. But we know that these problems actually aren't new. That is that the National Emergency on Child and Adolescent Mental Health, I would say, was declared in, around COVID-19, but I would say that it actually started back around 2009, and that mental health problems have really been on the rise for over a decade now. And so for me, this really begs the question, how are we going to combat this youth mental health crisis? What are we going to do? And how do we develop treatments that can target all sorts of mental health problems? Because everyone experiences this youth mental health crisis in their own way. These are some of the questions that haunted me and kept me up at night as a graduate student and as a psychologist in training. And as I engaged with a diversity of populations and was able to treat a diversity of people, I recognized that there was one common factor that they all said they wanted more of in their lives. And that was social connection. Social connection can be defined as the experience of feeling close and connected to others. It involves feeling loved, cared for, and deeply valued. And I think we all inherently know the importance of connection in our lives. That is that early in our lives, we know that children and infants need care, love, support to feel safe so that they can, so that their bodies can actually focus on higher level needs like growth and development, so that they can become who they really want to be. But somewhere along the way, I think we lose touch of what we need. And we know now, looking worldwide, looking across 37 countries and over 1 million teens, that we're in a worldwide loneliness epidemic, that loneliness has been on the rise since 2012 with the rise of technology. And what the research has been telling us for decades now is that feelings of loneliness, that these feelings of social disconnection can actually manifest into mental and physical health problems. On an emotional level, we all know that we feel better, more supported, less stressed when we have the social support that we need in our lives. But I think it's important to also think about why it is that our social relationships might actually get under our skin and impact physical health outcomes for teens, but across the lifespan too. And that is that what the research is telling us is that social relationships and those who feel more socially connected are more likely to engage in positive health behaviors. They're more likely to have a healthier diet. They're more likely to go on that walk. People encourage each other to go to the doctor, to take their medication, to be more active and healthy and connected in their day-to-day lives. So I've really come to see social connection as a fundamental health behavior. I think this is something that we need to be paying more attention to globally. It's something that's going to be profoundly impacting our health for generations to come if we don't start paying attention to this loneliness epidemic. So to combat these mental health problems that are really on the rise, I believe we need a diversity of mental health supports. So my research program is focused on developing accessible interventions to promote social connection. The first arm of my research really focuses on creating and co-creating brief digital intervention programs for youth. And what we're doing here is meeting youth where they are at home or in school, and we're teaching them relationship skills, helping them identify what they need in relationships. How do they communicate their emotions and needs? How do they regulate their emotions when challenges come up in their relationships? And if they're not getting their needs met, how do they make decisions about whether or not they should stay or go? And the second arm of my research, which is more aspirational, I would say, long-term, my goal is to focus on creating a new workforce. That is that I believe that we can train peer mentors, we can train lay providers to expand access to care, and that these lay therapists can focus on improving transdiagnostic issues for at-risk youth, such as difficulties regulating their emotions, attachment insecurity, helping youth improve their self-esteem and helping youth feel more connected in their lives. My hope is that these interventions can become a part of a diversified stepped care model of mental health. That is that we can have online interventions as sort of the first level of care for youth who start to show symptoms of disconnection or loneliness, and that they, if they need more support, then can be met with peer mentors that are embedded in their communities, that are culturally competent and highly skilled to be able to treat, but also alleviate some of these mental health problems from getting worse. And if youth need a higher level of care, they can be referred to licensed psychologists and therapists, psychiatrists and specialists, and of course, inpatient support. My hope is that all of these interventions put together can alleviate some of the feelings of loneliness so that our youth feel more connected, that they feel more loved and supported in their lives. And with that, I'll thank you all for your time.